Imagine a cold night as deep as time itself, the damp smell of earth mixed with the smoky aroma of burning wood hanging subtly in the air. Your eyes, for a moment, hesitate and then slowly open. You are no longer in your familiar bed. You are no longer in your time. You are submerged deeply in an ancient sleep, awakening in the most silent of ages. You have just woken up in the Middle Ages. The first moment is a blanket of confusion, soft and heavy, that still envelops the mind. It is like the cold mist of dawn that refuses to be completely dispelled by the first glimpse of light. Your eyes, still heavy with sleep, try to adjust to the almost total darkness that embraces you, a darkness broken only by the flickering and hypnotic dance of a solitary flame. There is no artificial blue glow of a cell phone screen, nor the constant and familiar buzz of electronics on standby. The absence of these modern sounds and lights is, in itself, a profound and unexpected lullaby, a silent melody that invites you, almost irresistibly, to let go of the stress of your day that has passed, of the anxieties about the future that stretches out. Feel the weight of your body on a surface that is not the soft, familiar mattress you know so well. This surface is firmer, more robust. Perhaps a simple bed of dried straw covered with a rough cloth of raw wool, or a solid wooden bed with a minimalist mattress of wool or feathers that gently molds to your body. There is a tangible truth in this simplicity, a connection to the elemental, to the essential. The smell, oh, the smell is different. There are no synthetic fragrances from air fresheners or cleaners. Instead, the air is thick but pure, with the deep scent of old wood, of damp earth seeping from the stone foundations, and of fireplace smoke, a sweet, smoky aroma that has permeated the stone and wood over countless centuries. There might be a subtle hint of dampness, perhaps the soft smell of dried straw, of animals kept in a nearby stable, or even the delicate aroma of dried herbs hanging in a corner, drying for medicinal or culinary use. These are smells that tell silent stories of a simple, organic life, lived in intimate and unbreakable harmony with the cycles of nature. They ground you, grounding you in this moment, releasing your worries about what lies beyond. Try to touch what is around you. Your fingers glide over the roughness of the cold stone that forms the nearest wall, feeling its natural irregularities. Feel the coarse, almost rustic texture of the fabric that covers you, perhaps a hand-spun wool blanket or a heavy linen sheet. There is not the silky softness of modern fibers, the uniform perfection. There is the honesty of natural fiber, the truth of something made with purpose, by hand, to last, to warm, to protect against the chill of the night. The room temperature is cool, perhaps a little humid, a striking contrast to the perfectly air-conditioned environments that surround us today. Allow this light breeze to envelop your skin, a gentle reminder, almost a caress, that you are now in a place where the world still breathed freely, without the barriers of technology. The silence. The silence is almost deafening in its depth and presence. Not the empty, sterile silence of a soundproof room, but a living silence, where sounds are distant, scattered, and each one that emerges becomes a singular note in a vast symphony of calm. You can hear the wind whistling softly through the cracks of a small window, or the soft, rhythmic scratching of something unknown outside, perhaps a small rodent, perhaps a dry leaf being gently blown by the wind. What in modern times would be a cause for alarm or irritation now becomes an integral part of the environment, an element that serves to calm the mind, to anchor you in the ancestral present. Your eyes adjust more and more to the dim light. You begin to make out shapes in the gradual darkness. A chest of dark, sturdy wood in the corner of the room, simple in design, but strong. A rough wooden chair, perhaps with a heavy cloak thrown over it. A small window with no glass, just a narrow slit in the stone wall or a simple wooden grate, allowing the darkness of the night outside to gently mingle with the dim light within. Through it, you glimpse perhaps the dark, imposing outline of an ancient tree, or the soft profile of a neighboring thatched roof, dotted against a sky that is beginning to suggest the end of night and the promise of dawn. This is an experience that pulls you, almost magnetically, out of the incessant vortex of modern time. There are no emails to check, no buzzing notifications to respond to, no deadlines to meet. The worries of tomorrow seem distant, unnecessary, almost unreal in this centuries-old setting. You are simply here, in this moment, in the Middle Ages. An interloper, yes, an accidental time traveler, but a privileged observer. A being who can simply exist without the relentless pressures of constant productivity or uninterrupted connectivity. Allow this sense of detachment detachment to sink deep within you. Feel every muscle in your body relax. Every little tension that has built up over the day melt away, slipping away like sand through your fingers. You don't have to do anything, absolutely nothing, just be. Take a deep breath, breathe in the ancient, pure moisture of this air that has never known pollution. Slowly exhale the agitation and weariness of your own time. With each breath, feel yourself sinking deeper and deeper into this present moment, this medieval instant. This is an invitation for your mind to free itself, for your thoughts to become as slow and fluid as the blue smoke of a candle in a dark room. Just observe, feel, allow the deep stillness of this medieval morning, still in its earliest formation, to be your refuge, your safe haven. Embrace the darkness, embrace the silence, let sleep come. The medieval world was a place where the rhythms of life were dictated almost entirely by nature, and the night, in particular, had its own symphony, so intricately different from the urban cacophonies of today. From where you sit, nestled in your simple, cozy bed, you begin to discern the sounds that truly belong to that era, sounds that shaped and cradled it for centuries. The soft, repetitive croaking of frogs from a nearby marsh or stream, a steady, hypnotic sound that blends harmoniously with the vast silence. They do not rush, nor do they compete for attention. They simply sing their ancient songs without interruption. It is a sound that reminds you of the quiet vitality of nature, a slow, comforting pulse, the whisper of the wind. It doesn't just pass by, it dances, it flows, it breathes among the ancient trees. Those trees that have witnessed centuries of human history, of past lives, of changes so slow that they have become imperceptible to mortals. The sound of the wind through dry branches is a gentle scratching, almost a distant lament, which paradoxically invites you to a state of deep calm and introspection. It is the sound of the earth itself breathing, a vast and endless breath. There are no sirens tearing through the air, nor the continuous roar of distant engines, just breathing the natural world in its purest form. Somewhere, perhaps closer now, an owl calls. Hoo-hoo! Its call is melancholic and beautiful, an unmistakable sign that night is still the queen of the world, and that wildlife continues its course undisturbed, indifferent to human time. The crickets, tireless in their nocturnal dedication, weave a continuous sound carpet, a subtle vibration that fills every inch of space without being at any moment intrusive. It is a sound that becomes almost invisible because it is so constant, but that when you focus on it, reveals a layer of stillness and natural order that invites you to let go. As time stretches on, with a slowness that modernity has taught us to forget, you notice a subtle change in the air, a faint lightening that is not that of the bright sun, but of the light itself about to rise. The deep, almost purple blue of the night sky begins to soften to a paler hue on the distant horizon. It is dawn, arriving with a delicacy that barely disturbs the deep sleep of the world. There is no rush, no abrupt awakening of the city light. The medieval day does not burst into light and noise. It unfolds slowly, gently, like a night flower opening at the first hesitant touch of light. The first sounds of human awakening are barely perceptible, whispers in the veil of stillness. Perhaps the sleepy grumble of an animal in the next stable, a pig stirring in its sleep, or a cow slowly chewing its cud, or the muffled sound of a wooden door opening and closing in a neighboring house, the soft crackle of ancient wood, a villager rising for his morning chores, moving with the respect that stillness demands. They are echoes, faint, not thunderous. Each sound is spaced out, allowing stillness to return and fill the gaps, like waves on a calm shore. And then the rooster crows. It is not a sudden, shrill cry, but a gradual call, repeating itself, ever more present, marking time. It is the clock of the Middle Ages, a universal signal echoing through the millennia. That night gives way to day. This sound, as old as human civilization itself, anchors you even more deeply in this moment. It reminds you that life, even in such a distant and different era, followed a predictable rhythm, comforting in its simplicity and regularity. Perhaps you hear a distant church bell, a soft, mournful peal that floats and echoes over the fields and forests that stretch away. It is not a bell that calls for hustle and bustle, but for reflection, for prayer, for the reminder that time passes, but faith and community remain. It is a sound that floats on the cool, clear morning air, slowly fading away, leaving behind only the soft vibration of its resonance, an invitation to peace. Let these ancient sounds enter you, one by one. They do not compete for your attention, nor seek to disturb you. Instead, they coexist in perfect harmony. They are the soundtrack of a time when life was more tangible, more connected to the slow, steady pulse of the earth. Allow these whispers of the past to envelop you, calming every fiber of your mind, relaxing every muscle in your body. Imagine yourself floating in these sounds, feeling each one like a note in a lullaby for your soul. Each distant sound draws you deeper into rest, further away from the hustle and bustle of the modern world. You are safe. You are at peace. You are ready to fall asleep. As dawn gathers strength, shedding its soft golden light over the landscape, you feel a gentle curiosity to peer into the life slowly awakening around you. As you step out of your simple refuge, you find yourself faced with the calm, bucolic landscape of a medieval village unfolding before your eyes. There is none of the dizzying haste we have come to know in our era. Every movement is deliberate. Every task has its own intrinsic rhythm, dictated by elemental necessity and the patient strength of arms and simple tools. Look at the peasants, the silent backbone of that society. Their lives were a constant hymn to simplicity, a choreographed and uninterrupted dance with the earth. You can see a man with calloused hands pulling a rudimentary plow with the help of a strong and patient ox. The sound is that of the earth being turned and turned, a gentle scraping, a rustling of roots being exposed. There is no deafening roar of industrial machinery, only the sound of human and animal effort, in perfect synchrony with the murmurs of nature. It is hard work, yes, but it has a quiet dignity, a deep and unbreakable connection to sustenance and life itself. Women, dressed in simple, functional linen and wool, move with grace and purpose as they tend to the animals that provide their family's sustenance. The soft bleating of sheep, the contented grunting of pigs as they rummage through the mud, the familiar clucking of chickens as they scratch about the yard. These are sounds that were once an integral and constant part of life, clear signs of sustenance, of continuity, of a routine that has been repeated for ages. They might be milking a cow, and you can imagine the rhythmic, gentle sound of fresh milk gushing into the wooden bucket, a comforting sound of simple everyday abundance. The aroma, the aroma of wood burning in the fireplaces of every home, the sweet, smoky smell that announces the preparation of the first meals of the day, the simple and nutritious breakfast. The bread, baked in communal clay ovens that emanated a welcoming warmth, releases an intoxicating perfume of yeast and toasted grains, an aroma that spreads gently and fills the morning air. Imagine the crunch of the golden crust, the inviting softness of the crumb. It was the basis of all food, simple in its ingredients, but deeply nutritious and satisfying. Children play, but their play is of a different nature than the kind you are used to. There are no electronic toys with flashing lights, no shrill, boisterous cries of modern playgrounds. They may push wooden hoops with sticks down dirt roads or throw stones into a nearby stream, the soft sound of water lapping. Their laughter is soft, muffled, like the breeze passing through the fields. They are deeply connected to the natural environment, watching the insects crawl, exploring every bush, learning from the real, organic world around them, absorbing its mysteries. The medieval community was built around cooperation and closeness, around the need for one another. Conversations are held in low voices, without the need to compete with the outside noise. There is an intrinsic sense of belonging, that each person has their place and vital function within the whole, working together, sharing scarce resources, silent solidarity in times of difficulty, a life that is less individualistic, more deeply interconnected by the web of need and mutual support. The days were long, to be sure, but they were not rushed. The tasks were repetitive, yes, but they offered a form of moving meditation, a focus on the present, sewing, weaving, repairing farm tools, grinding grain into flour. Each action had a clear purpose, a tangible and immediate reward. There was no distraction from multiple tasks at once, no crushing sense of always being behind, of never catching up with time. There was the simple satisfaction of completion, of sustainability, of life lived at one's own pace. Feel the earth beneath your feet, even if only in your most vivid imagination. The uneven texture of the dirt floor or the uneven stones, gently warmed by the rising sun, the freshness of the air that mingles with the subtle warmth emanating from the first fires lit in the fireplaces. Notice the colors of the landscape, the varied and deep greens of the cultivated fields and distant forests, the warm earthy tones of the clay and wooden houses, the pale and promising blue of the morning sky, a natural color palette, soft and deeply relaxing for the eyes and the soul. Let yourself be carried away by this radical simplicity. There are no overcomplicated things, basic needs are the only focus: food, shelter, safety, community. The mind, overwhelmed by the endless choices of the modern world, is calmed when options are few and priorities are crystal clear. Allow the disarming simplicity of medieval life to be a balm to your weary soul. Every soft sound, every authentic smell, every peaceful sight draws you closer to a deep, restful sleep. Relax, just relax, as medieval life unfolds its tranquil, ancient rhythm around you. Let stillness be your companion. Now let us move silently, almost like a shadow, to another epicenter of medieval life, a place of greater grandeur and apparent power, but which, under the calm light of day and the cloak of night, also possessed its own distinct rhythm of tranquility: the castle. For a moment, forget the epic images of battles and war cries that popular history presents to us. Think of the castle as it really was: a home, a fortress, yes, but above all, a space that housed lives, dreams, routines, and the slow passing of time. As you approach its imposing, ancient stone walls, there is an immediate sense of solidity, of unshakable permanence. The cold, ancient stones seem to absorb sound, creating a bubble of silence and security within. Passing through the massive gate and through the dark passages, you enter a courtyard that, in the still morning hours, can be surprisingly quiet, punctuated only by the soft rustle of the wind passing through the battlements, or the murmur of distant conversation coming from a kitchen or a pantry. Sounds hushed and comforting. In the great hall, where once grand feasts and banquets were held, a deep and imposing calm now reigns. The light that enters through the tall, arched windows, often narrow and deep, is not harsh or dazzling, but diffuse, softened by the colossal thickness of the walls. It illuminates the elaborate tapestries that adorn the walls, telling visual stories of brave knights and noble ladies, of enchanted forests and mythical beasts, of hunting scenes and courtly life. Their time-faded tones and rich textures invite the eye to wander unhurriedly, to lose itself in the minute details, without any urgency or demand. The air inside the castle may be slightly cooler, damp from the stone, but it also has the lingering scent of hearth smoke, a warm, welcoming aroma mixed with the faint scent of beeswax used to polish the dark wood of the furniture and paneling. Somewhere in the hall, or perhaps in a more intimate room, a log fire burns with a soft, steady crackle, casting a warm, dancing glow over the polished stone and armor. The sound of the fire is a primal sound of comfort, an ancient reminder of safety, of warmth, of shelter from the cold of the outside world. In their more private chambers, the lives of lords and ladies followed a more refined and luxurious routine than that of the peasants, but no less measured and rhythmic. A lady might be seated by a window, the soft light illuminating her face as she embroidered a delicate fabric, her fingers working with methodical precision, the only sound the gentle pull of the needle across the canvas. Or a lord might be reading an ancient parchment in a dark and silent library, the soft rustle of paper or the roll of wood, and the soft murmur of his voice as he reads softly, the only sounds that break the silence. The stillness of these moments was a luxury, a precious time for the mind and spirit to devote to study, reflection, or creation. The servants, essential to the running of the castle, move with silent and respectful purpose. Their footsteps are muffled on stone floors, the distant clink of kitchen pots, one voice calling to another in a low tone, never raising its voice. There is no rush, but a calm, orchestrated efficiency. Each one knows his or her task and performs it with the dignity of service, contributing to the harmony of the whole. Look through a castle window, or from the battlements of a tower. The view of green fields and dark forests stretches, untouched and vast, as far as the eye can see. Distance softens the contours, and the world outside seems even more peaceful and serene from above. The wind murmurs around the battlements, a melancholy lullaby to the keep itself, whispering secrets of ages past. Allow the quiet grandeur of the castle to envelop you, the sense of unshakable security it provided, the refuge from the uncertainties of the outside world. There is no urgency here, only the slow, dignified passage of time, marked by shifting shadows and changing light. Let the majestic calm of these ancient spaces seep into you, soothing every little worry, releasing every knot of tension that may be trapped in your body. Visualize yourself within these walls, protected, at peace, as if the castle were a great embrace of stone. Your mind begins to wander gently, preparing itself, accepting the invitation to rest. The stillness is a heavy blanket, and you are safe beneath it, ready for sleep. Now let us move away from the villages and imposing castles and venture on a deeper journey journey along the paths that, like ancient veins, connected the vast medieval world. These were not the smooth, straight roads we know today, cut by technology and progress. They were dirt tracks, often uneven, perhaps muddy after a recent rain, winding and embraced by a nature that was much vaster, wilder, and more present than what remains in our time. Imagine yourself walking or riding slowly along one of these ancient paths. The sound of a horse's hooves gently hitting the dirt or loose stones is rhythmic, almost hypnotic in its regularity, a steady rhythm that echoes the pulse of time itself. If there is a moving cart, the characteristic creak of its wooden wheels, slowly turning on their axles, is an ancient melody, familiar to all who have dared to travel. There is neither the breathless speed nor the continuous, deafening flow of vehicles that characterize the modern world. The journey was, in itself, a form of meditation, a slow, contemplative observation of the landscape that unfolded, layer by layer, before one's eyes. The air is pure, fresh, and penetrating. It carries with it the deep smell of wet earth after the night's dew, the distinct aroma of decaying leaves that cover the forest floor, and the resinous scent of pine and oak trees that grow in dense, dark forests. The sunlight, when it manages to penetrate the vast canopy of trees, creates patterns of light and shadow that dance gently on the forest floor. The rays of light seem to dance and shimmer, inviting you to look up, to lose yourself in the infinite complexity of the foliage in a silent invitation to stillness. The sounds of the forest are a rich and soothing tapestry of tranquility. The soft melodic songs of birds, each with their own unique and serene melody, fill the air without being overwhelming or disturbing. The gentle, steady rustle of leaves in the wind, a continuous whisper that has the power to calm the most restless mind. The distant hum of insects, an intrinsic part of the life that pulsates everywhere, but in such a natural and integrated way that it is barely perceived by the conscious mind. You might find a river meandering calmly through the trees, its clear, cool water reflecting the blue sky above. The sound of water flowing gently over polished rocks and pebble beds, a steady, uninterrupted murmur, is one of the most relaxing sounds in nature. It is the voice of the water, flowing endlessly, carrying away your worries, anxieties, and racing thought, leaving behind only a sense of fluidity, continuity, and deep peace. Imagine yourself sitting by the river, watching the water flow by, carrying away all your tension, each one dissolving in the current. Open fields stretch out beneath a vast, boundless sky, dotted with colorful wildflowers and aromatic herbs that grow wild. The scent of these herbs, perhaps wild lavender or thyme warming in the sun, is carried gently on the breeze, a natural perfume that purifies the senses and calms the breath. The vastness of these spaces, without modern buildings, without power cables, without communication towers, invites the mind to expand, to feel small before the grandeur of nature, but at the same time deeply connected and part of it. There are no visual distractions screaming for your attention, no flashing lights or advertisements. The landscape is organic, fluid, ever-changing light and shadow, but at a pace that invites slow contemplation. The daylight moves slowly, creating new, gentle shadows and bringing out new colors in the landscape. Every gentle hill, every serene valley, every bend in the river reveals itself gradually, inviting you to immerse yourself in this unhurried visual journey with no destination, just the path. Let the slow, mindful rhythm of medieval travel envelop you completely. Let the purity of the air, the freshness of the breeze on your face, and the natural primal sounds be a balm for your thoughts. Feel like you are part of this untouched nature, a silent observer who finds peace and serenity in the simplicity and immensity of the medieval world. As you absorb this profound tranquility, your muscles relax one by one, your breathing deepens and slows, and the stillness of the past draws you ever closer to a deep, restful sleep. Let yourself go. Surrender to the calm. Amid the simple rural life and the stone fortresses of the castles, there were refuges of an even deeper calm, places dedicated to unshakable faith and the slow, patient cultivation of knowledge. The monasteries. These were in essence sanctuaries of peace, where time seemed to move at an even slower pace, governed not by mechanical clocks, but by bells that marked the hours of prayer and daily rituals that had been repeated for centuries. Imagine yourself entering a cloister. The ancient and imposing stone archways cast long, peaceful shadows over a meticulously tended central garden. In the center of this garden, Perhaps a fountain murmurs softly, the rhythmic sound of water falling into a small pond, a constant and soothing sound that blends almost seamlessly with the prevailing silence. It is a sound that invites meditation, the emptying of the mind of all worries or distractions. It simply is. Within the monastery's sturdy, ancient walls, the monks' daily routine was a study in quiet dedication and discipline. In a hushed library, lit only by the soft yellow light of candles, monks can be seen hunched over dark wooden tables, their weathered hands patiently copying manuscripts by hand. There is almost no sound here, the soft scrape and scratch of a quill on parchment, the occasional soft rustle of a page being turned, the barely audible murmur of a prayer recited in a low, reverent voice. Every movement is deliberate, every letter placed with precision and deep reverence. It is a work of infinite patience, of quiet love of knowledge, performed in an almost sacred silence that seems to absorb all cares. The air in these spaces can smell sweet and comforting, like candle wax slowly burning, soft incense wafting through the hallways, and the earthy, unmistakable aroma of ancient books and scrolls. When light filters through the small high windows, sometimes adorned with simple geometric stained glass, it paints the stone floors and walls with soft, faded patterns of color. These colors, filtered through history and time, have a calming, almost mystical quality, inviting deep visual relaxation. The sounds of Gregorian chant may echo softly and distantly from a nearby chapel, an ethereal, timeless melody that seems to come from another world. The voices, singing in unison and harmony, are soft and deep, filling the space without being intrusive or demanding. It is music that seeks not to stir the spirit, but to uplift it, to soothe the soul, to invite contemplation and ultimately rest. Let these ancient, pure voices envelop you, guiding your breathing to a slower, deeper, more conscious rhythm. Monastery gardens were not just for the sustenance of the monks, they were also places of deep reflection and communion with the divine and nature. The herbs and plants grown there were not just for medicine or food, but for the delight of the senses, for connecting with nature in its simplest and most healing form. The gentle hum of bees in the flowers, the soft rustle of the leaves of an ancient apple tree, the scent of wild roses blooming leisurely. Every detail, no matter how small, contributed to the overwhelming sense of peace. Faith was the unshakable anchor of medieval life, and in monasteries it manifested itself in its purest, most constant and disciplined form. There was no confusion of ideas, no multiplicity of information that plagues us today. Instead, there was the simplicity of a belief that gave meaning to time, space, and existence. This dedication, this certainty, brings a tranquility that transcends everyday worries and uncertainties. Allow the profound stillness and serene devotion of these ancient sites to envelop you completely. Let the reverent silence of the stone corridors, the constant murmur of the fountains, the ancient scent of the scrolls, and the distant chanting become a soothing balm to your restless mind. Visualize yourself there, free from all worries, in a state of serene contemplation. With each word spoken, each sound heard, feel yourself sinking deeper and deeper into a state of deep and well-earned rest. You are safe in this haven of peace, on the verge of a truly restful sleep. Relax and surrender. As the long, quiet medieval day slowly draws to a close, a new and even deeper layer of calm settles over the world. The sun begins its majestic descent into the distant horizon, painting the sky with a palette of soft oranges, pale pinks, and deep blues that blend into a tapestry of soothing, hypnotic colors. Shadows lengthen, stretching lazily over the open fields, ancient trees, and rustic cottages, creating a veil of mystery and a profound sense of peace. The sounds of the day, which had been present but soft, begin to fade one by one. Work in the fields ceases completely. Tools are put away, livestock are herded. The voices of the village become rarer, softer, turning into muffled whispers of evening conversations around the fireplaces. The last birds of the day give their farewell songs, a final melody, before seeking their nests for the night's rest. A silence different from that of the deep night begins to emerge, a silence of transition, where the whole world seems to hold its breath in anticipation. The smell of smoke from the fireplaces, emanating from each clay and stone chimney, grows stronger and sweeter, an unmistakable and welcoming invitation to the warmth of home. In each house, candlelight and small oil lamps begin to flicker softly in the windows, warm and inviting spots that shine in the growing darkness. These small lights are like beacons of safety and warmth, promising rest, protection, and a refuge from the chill of the approaching night. The animals, guided by their ancestral instinct, begin to return to their shelters, the sheep to their pens, the cows to their stalls. The sound of their footsteps and their soft, contented grunts is the last echo of the day's activities. There is a sense of closure, that everything is returning to its resting place, that the daily cycle is complete. The darkness deepens, and with it, a sense of security. Gone are the bright, incessant lights of modern cities that steal the night sky, hiding the beauty of the stars. Here, the sky reveals itself in all its starry glory, a vast, endless expanse of luminous pinpoints, each a promise of infinite calm and mystery. The moon, if present in the sky, casts a soft, silvery light over the sleeping landscape, transforming the familiar world into an ethereal, serene dreamscape. Inside the homes, warmed by a gentle fire, the family gathers around the campfire or brazier. Stories are told in low voices, whispered softly, perhaps old lullabies for children already drifting off to sleep. The warmth of the fire is an irresistible invitation to relaxation, its crackling a steady rhythm that lulls the mind. There is no incessant stimulation from the media, the news, the social networks, just the simplicity of human interaction and the primal comfort of warmth. Allow this gentle transition from day to night in the medieval world to wash over you. Feel the last tensions of your own day melt away, each one melting away into the night air. Let the shadows lengthen over your worries, hiding them from your mind, making them insignificant. The whole world is preparing for sleep, and so are you. With each passing second, each sound that quiets, each small light that flickers on in the darkness, feel yourself becoming more and more at peace, more and more ready for a deep, uninterrupted sleep. Trust the medieval night to gently ease you into rest. And now you find yourself in the beating heart of the medieval night. There is no need to imagine any longer. Wherever you have traveled in your mind, in your imagination, whether in the cozy simplicity of a sleepy village, the silent majesty of a towering castle, the vastness and purity of untouched nature, or the deep, reverent stillness of a monastery, all these sights, all these sounds and smells merge into a single, overwhelming sensation, that of absolute peace. The world outside, with its infinite complexities and its relentless demands, is now light years away, a distant memory, almost irrelevant. Here, in this moment, there is only the present, and the present is rest. Feel your body sink deeper into the mattress, into the pillow that supports your head. Every fiber of your being surrenders completely to the support that supports you, to the total absence of effort. Your arms, your legs, your shoulders, your neck, every muscle, every tendon relaxes, releasing any remaining tension, no matter how small, that may have clung to you throughout the day. Imagine that each exhale you take carries away a burden, a worry, a troubling thought, and each inhale you take brings a gentle wave of calm, of lightness, of renewal. The deep, ancient stillness of this ancient era is a balm for your mind. It is a perfect, irresistible lullaby for your most agitated, most insistent thoughts. They diminish in intensity, become softer, less urgent, until they almost disappear. Let them float away without resistance, like dry, light leaves carried by a gentle autumn breeze. You need not cling to anything, absolutely nothing. There is nothing to solve now. No problems to ponder, only space and time. Only space and time for rest. The air you breathe is fresh and pure, carrying the essence of the earth and time. Breathe deeply, feeling it fill your lungs completely, oxygenating every cell in your body, from your feet to your head. Exhale slowly with deliberate calm, releasing any lingering stress or fatigue that may still be trapped. Do it again. A deep breath in, and an even slower, longer, fuller exhale. Feel lighter, feel more relaxed, feel completely at ease. You are safe in this timeless setting. The ancient stone walls protect you, shelter you. The darkness embraces you like a soft, comforting blanket. The distant sounds of the medieval night, an owl calling, the whispering wind, the soft crackling of a dying fire, are now the silent guardians of your sleep. They do not wake you, but guide you, like stars in the night sky, to an abyss of tranquility and rest. Allow yourself to surrender fully to this experience. Don't fight the oncoming sleep. There is no need to control what is happening. Just float. You are being gently led into a state of deep rest where your body and mind can finally fully restore themselves. The stories of the Middle Ages, with their radical simplicity, their connection to the fundamental, and their natural rhythm, have served their purpose. They have led you back to a time of calm, and now, gently and inevitably, they are leading you to sleep. Let your eyes grow heavy, your eyelids gently closing if they haven't already. Your consciousness dissolves into the welcoming vastness of the medieval night, mingling with the gentle breeze, the deep shadows, the all-pervading silence. Nothing else matters but this moment of complete surrender. You are entering a deep, restful sleep, a sleep without interruptions, where dreams can be as old as time itself and as peaceful as the most serene night. Sleep well, let yourself go, surrender to the darkness and peace. If this journey through the whispers of the past, through the shadows and stillness of the Middle Ages, has brought an echo of peace to your soul, if the simplicity and serenity of this ancient time has lulled your thoughts and softened every tension you carried, so imagine what else the depths of time and the hypnotic shadows of our channel can reveal for your rest. It's not just a video you just watch, it's an invitation, a portal, a constant refuge to the tranquility you crave each night. Become part of our circle of tranquility. Click now this very moment on the subscribe button and please activate the bell so that each new night of escape, each new story of deep sleep, each new journey into calm finds you at the right time when you need it most. Let us gently guide you again and again to the sweetest of Olivias, to the deepest of peaces. Your next awakening into true calm is just a click away. Rest and return whenever the darkness calls you.